Welcome into the Devils in Detail Softball Roundtable. I'm joined by Joey Caulo and Sam Ficarro. I'm Jordan Kaye, and we're here to discuss the ASU softball team. They got out to a great start early in their season, but had some struggles lately. They lost their last game to Oregon State and then got swept by number 2 Oregon. So what do you think went wrong for them in the past 4 games?
Well, I think it's just been the hitting. And at Oregon, they have struggled to get the bats going, facing top-level starting pitching. I believe they only scored like 3 runs combined in the 3 games. They just had trouble scoring. The Oregon State game was a bit of a back-and-forth game. The Beavers, after being run-ruled the first 2 games of the series, they bounced back. They were resilient. ASU had a chance at the bases loaded in the 6th inning. They couldn't capitalize, and then Oregon State scored the winning runs in the 7th. So ASU, they do face Stanford this upcoming weekend, so they should hopefully get it back on track with this week off.
I mean, I think it was a situation as they ran into a really good team at a bad time. Coming off that Oregon State loss, they had to go all the way up to Eugene. Oregon's got one heck of a softball team, and they proved that. Oregon's got excellent starting pitching, but one of the things I think ASU can take away from it is you go play a good team on the road, and they kind of kept it within themselves. 2 games were really close, especially the last game went extra innings. So they proved that they can hang with the top dogs. Maybe they didn't come away with a win, but they definitely competed up there.
Yeah, Sam mentioned it. They did get shut out 2 times in that Oregon series, but Oregon didn't score too many runs. Most of the games they weren't run ruled. So what are you guys seeing from the pitchers right now? Rindak's obviously pitching very well, and so is Juarez, the freshman. So what are you guys liking from the pitching staff right now?
Yeah, the ASU pitching staff has been really good this season. You know, with the transfer of Kelsey Kessler, who was like their ace last year, a lot of people thought the pitching rotation would be down, but with Trisha Ford coming in, her forte is pitching. And you see that too in Rindak, Maha. Maha has struggled a little bit, but Rindak, Loza, and Juarez. I think Loza and Juarez have been the 2 big surprises, both freshmen. They kind of alternate who starts, but they do a good job, especially coming in relief if Maha or Rindak are struggling. So definitely the ASU pitching, I think, has been a relatively good surprise this season.
I think anytime with pitching, just about getting ahead of counts, you look at the games they've had success with, it's a lot of 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts, kind of putting the hitters in situations where they got to force and try to put a ball in play. So as long as they keep doing that, I don't see why Rindak, Juarez, or Maha, all 3 of them will continue pitching well as we get further in the season.
And they should have a much easier slate coming up. They play a little easier team in Stanford. How do you think that series is going to go, and what are you looking for that ASU can improve on to kind of relieve that Oregon series?
Well, it's interesting. ASU's had over a week off, so we'll see if they have a bit of rust. Stanford is the worst team in the Pac-12. They're sitting at 0-9 in conference play, so that should help ASU as they get into a brutal stretch to end the season with 4 tough series against like the likes of Arizona, Utah, and Cal. So it's gonna be tough sledding from here on out. So they got to really try to capitalize this weekend against Stanford.
Yeah, exactly like you're saying. They can't be caught looking forward to anything. You get too focused on Utah or the Arizona series down the road. A team like Stanford, even though they're 0-9 in conference, can jump up and beat you. And right now, they're ASU's 2-7 in conference, so they can't really afford to drop these series that they're supposed to win.
All right, I'll take it big picture for the last question. How do you think the season's going to turn out for ASU softball? What's going to be their end goal when they finish the season?
Yeah, I think ASU is going to make the tournament. I feel like they have enough wins. Surprisingly, they're 2-7 against Pac-12 play, but they were swept on the road by Washington and Oregon, who are both top 10 teams. They should sweep Stanford, realistically, because they're 0-9. But they have Utah, which I think will be a very competitive series. And then obviously they have Arizona, UCLA, who are both top 10 teams. UCLA just handed Oregon their first losses of the season. Oregon was 35-0. So it's going to be a very tough ending. I think, and all in all, though, I think big picture, when ASU reaches the tournament, by facing tough teams in the Pac-12 will help them in the NCAA tournament.
I can see them finishing very well. They do have a tough stretch, but one of the things about having a tough stretch, you're going to get a lot of quality wins. If you can find a way to win games, you're going to have a lot of good things in your resume. Right now, I think the ladies are ranked 23rd in the nation. Yeah, ideally, if you get top 16, you get to host a regional, and if you're able to do that, able to get teams to come play you in your own house, you're set up pretty well to make it to Oklahoma City in June.
All right, that's been the Devils in Detail Softball Roundtable. For everything you heard and to check back on how that Stanford series goes and how the rest of the ASU softball season goes, check back on devilsindetail.com to read all of our articles about the softball team. Thank you for tuning in.